Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome to my live stream of Elite Dangerous. I am now currently in the Catspaw Nebula, about 5,500 light years away from Earth, and we can have a quick look at that right now just to get an idea of where I am in the galaxy. So Earth's right over here. Let's click on that again. Oh dear, it's brought me over to a different system entirely now. Let's close the map and try that again. So there we are, nearly 5,500 light years away from my current location, which is right over here. I'm heading toward the galaxy core. My previous location was the Lagoon Nebula over here. Now here, in a rather vividly coloured area of space, and I'll have a good look around here on this stream, I think, before finally heading over to NGC 6357. Excuse me. So here we are. Let's have a look what's in our current system. I'm going to do a quick discovery scan, and it says no data discovered, so maybe I've already done the discovery scan when I was here previously, but there's nothing there, so we need to look for another system that's further into the nebula. As you can see, I'm right on the outskirts of the nebula there, and I want to try and get into an area where you can see the colours of the nebula vividly. Sometimes you'll go into an area of the nebula and it'll be rather dull in colour, so you've got to try and find the right location, but that should do the job. I think we're good to go. Or not. There we go. Still had my hard points out from the discovery scan. Once I've done this jump, I've just got to check the stream. It looks like there's an issue with the chat window there. I can't actually see it, so I won't be able to see anyone talking, so give me a moment. As soon as I get here, I'll just park up the ship. Or maybe I should do a little bit of refueling first. That's it, I need to park up here. I'm just going to check the chat window, so bear with me a minute. Hopefully I'm not going to overheat while parked there. That's it, I think. Nope. It's fixed for a moment, and as soon as I go to the full screen on Elite, it blacks out the chat window again, which is a little bit of a nuisance, to say the least. No, it's not going to let me see it. Let's try that. Looks like that might have got it. Right, now let's do a scan here then. I can see there's a white window now on the stream. Sorry about this. Hopefully we'll get it all rectified in a minute. Right, what have we got in this system? Ah, quite a good system by the looks of it, although this place is well explored by our friend Zeth here. But all of these planets, as you can see, have got an atmosphere, a number of ocean worlds, and even a moon there with an atmosphere. So I'm going to go out and take a look at these and probably do a scan of them. Although I may have flown a little bit away from the system by now. As we move away from the sun, you can see the nebula starting to display itself in some of its more vivid colours, although not quite as vivid as what it was when we're just outside the nebula, so we're going to have to move around a little bit more perhaps to find some better viewpoint. A lot of this is purely down to the brightness of the star that we're near. The further away from the star that you get, the further away from the sun you get, the brighter the nebula will start to look. So we want to go to the, yeah, just look how bright that sun is. Very bright. That looks like it's the closest planet there to the star, and off we go. So these planets are worth a fair amount of money if you're going to come out this sort of way, and you're looking to scan planets that are going to net you a reasonable amount of money. These are the ones to look at. Water worlds. Not quite the most valuable, but one of the most valuable, and some of them are actually candidates for terraforming, which makes them even more valuable. Although, saying that, it could be that when I get here this one turns out to be an ice world. Sometimes they do look a little bit similar, but I think this is going to be a water world. The ones further out are high metal content planets. Sometimes they are also candidates suitable for terraforming. So all in all, this system should be worth quite a bit of money. Can't wait to actually see inhabited systems in nebulas. I know Frontier is slowly expanding civilized space, but at the moment new stations and whatnot are only going into neighbouring systems to civilized space, or those that are just 100 or so light years away. Eventually I'm hoping to start seeing stations and outposts out in the middle of these nebulas. It would be a shame otherwise. It's a lot of space out here with some lovely backgrounds. It would be great to be able to have some conflicts and stations and trade runs and all the rest of that stuff among these areas. So the Discovery scanner, the surface scanner, has just kicked in. It's going to tell us what planet type it is, and I'm going to get up a little bit closer after that to have a look at what it is. And yeah, it's a water world. So water world's basically a world that hasn't got any land mass, or has a very small amount of land mass. It's basically purely water. Sometimes it's got a breathable atmosphere, sometimes not. You can see the atmosphere here has a slight yellow tinge to it, so possibly not a very friendly place to humans. But huge polar caps, look. Should we see what the information panel says about this world? Aside from the fact it was already first discovered by someone else, it's an ammonia. It's got an ammonia atmosphere, but it is a planet that is suitable for terraforming, which makes it doubly as valuable. I'm going to now head out to the next planet in. Let's fly. I usually fly upwards. Those of you that have seen me do this before will see me fly away from the solar plane. Here I'm flying towards the rings. I actually want to fly sort of upwards in relation to them. I can then turn around and come back down directly to the planet I want to visit. Although I may just start using the nav panel, seeing as I want to visit every planet in this system. This is normally only good for... That method I was going to use is normally only good for specific planets, when you want to visit specific planets. So I'll just head out toward the nearest planet each time. I think that will probably get me where I want to go just as well. As you can see, all of these planets look like, well, maybe with the exception of this one, all the other planets in here are valuable planets. But that is the only star in this system. Takes a little bit of time sometimes to get out the gravity well when you're near a planet. It sort of holds you there, slowing down your acceleration when you want to get away and head towards the next destination. But once you're up to speed, it doesn't take long. These aren't hugely great distances. and you can see there's a little, on the orbit lines, the nav lines, there's a little circle there, or sphere with a circle around it, meaning that there are two planets essentially orbiting each other. So as opposed to being a planet with a moon orbiting it, they are two planets orbiting each other, much like Pluto does with its companion. I'm going to start slowing down. Once I get to around about between 50 and 100 light seconds, the discovery scanner should start kicking in, but I slowed down a little bit too late and my velocity is going to carry me right past it probably, unless I can get my velocity down a little bit. There we go. So what is this one? I may even be in a place different to where I expected to be. Might be a little bit further out. I was looking for the second planet and I've ended up on the third one. And look, we got another water world. So when I get back to civilized space with this data, this should all net me quite a reasonable amount of money. Water worlds are quite hard to find in comparison to other planets, but the ones I really like to find are Earth-likes, and I've only found a small number of them. I haven't found any on this particular exploration trip. As you can see there at the bottom of the screen, I'm actually 6 days into the exploration trip, so I'm waiting to see how high I can get that number, how long I can stay out here. My last trip was 4 weeks, or close to 5 weeks actually. I want this trip to be longer, and the only reason I had to head back last time was because I damaged my ship a little bit too much through the number of accidents I'd had, getting too close to suns, and had a cracked canopy, quite a low hull damage. I had quite a lot of hull damage, so I thought it was time to get back before I lost all the data I'd been scanning. Hello there, Majogal. Nice to see you. Well, yeah, that's choices, eh? I'm out here in the Cat's Paw Nebula now. I don't know if you saw me arrive here the other day or not, but there's quite a lot of planets here that are worth scanning. Looking to be quite a valuable location. This is one of the first systems I've actually stopped off in and actually scanned all the planets. In fact, it's the only system I've actually done that in this particular trip. Just heading out to the next one there. Let's have a quick look at the system map and we can have a look at what we've seen so far. So this one of course was the water world with the ammonia atmosphere, but that's not a candidate for terraforming, but the first one was. Hopefully I'm heading toward this one now, but any of these is good really, as I want to visit all of them. There we go, finally getting up to speed. You can actually turn away from the planet once you've actually started or completed the detailed surface scan. There's no need to go right up to it, but I do like to have a look at the planets because sometimes you find ones that are quite distinctly different to each other, or they've got a nice combination between the planet and the whatever's orbiting them. Ah, 3 black holes. Wow, that's really nice. I'd love to see that one. Most of the times you don't see the lensing until you're up pretty close, so that was quite a discovery indeed. Well, where was it? Was it out this way, or were you heading in a different direction? Haven't seen many black holes around this region yet. There's quite a few around the other nebulas I went in on the previous trip out, but not this time. I've rejigged the settings on my broadcast software a little bit, so do let me know if there's any issues with the sound or visuals. It's looking alright this end, but I'd like to be sure. There we go. Detailed surface scan kicking in. I'll just possibly back the other way then. Well, that's alright. That's fine. Maybe we can see a screenshot at some point. What have we got then? Another high metal content planet. It's pretty good. I'm going to get a little bit closer and have a look at what it looks like. It's one of those red ones. And it's the 6th planet, so I've gone a little bit further out this time. Let's head back towards the other ones. Oh, they're further away than I thought. We'll see how long that actually takes to get there. A red planet against a red nebula. You don't see that too often. Let's get a little bit of a better view of it. Yeah. And of course a lovely red reflection in the canopy there. To be a little bit careful with the aspect ratio on this monitor. It makes planets look like eggs when they're too far off to the side. You tend not to notice it when you're playing the game, but when you're looking from angles like that, it can be a little bit weird. V1292 Scorpii. Yeah, I did notice that star cluster. That's where it is then. Okay. But you must have been quite pleased with that discovery. I would love to have seen it. Hard to find black holes sometimes at the best of times, let alone quality ones. Oh yeah, quite a way away. 1500 light years. And in the opposite direction. Nice to know it's there though. I'll keep a note of that and perhaps I'll visit it on my way back, although I may be taking the long way back and planning to go up here through the galactic plane, then vertically upwards away from the galactic plane to try and get a good view of it, and then slowly down toward this side, and then maybe loop all the way back around to civilized space. So there's actually a nice cluster of nebulas around here, isn't there? Yeah, it always seems to be someone's there before us in these sort of places. Most of the nice clusters and the nice nebulas are well explored at this point. But that said, there's a whole load of systems out there that no one's ever seen. So who knows what we will discover in the future. Hello there, sharks. Nice to see you. In the Cat's Paw Nebula at the moment, just looking at this rather valuable system I've come across. Already discovered by someone else, of course, but nonetheless it's got a lot of valuable planets in it. Right, scan these two. Not yet. Nearly there though. Nearly done. Yeah, it seems to be that a lot of the systems with blue stars invariably also have a black hole in there with them as well, which makes for interesting viewing, doesn't it? I don't know, have you ever headed out towards the nebula NGC 7822? I think I showed it in a previous stream, the one which has a load of blue stars and a whole bunch of other stars within each system, sometimes as many as 20 or more stars per system. one of my favourite areas. I'll just permit you that link there, Joggle. Looks like you tried to link that a whole load of times, although that may just be the bot going crazy there. Hope I'm doing this right. It's the first time I've actually used this, so that should let you do it, shouldn't it? Sorry about the way that happened there. I've probably gone overzealous with some settings somewhere then. That's pretty bad, isn't it? We don't want it doing that. I'll have another look at these settings in a minute and make sure it doesn't make a habit of that. Yeah, you should be good to try now. I've just permitted you. It says you're good to go for 3 minutes, so hopefully it'll let you post a link. But maybe it'll do the same thing again. Hopefully not, though. A little bit harsh that is, isn't it? Deleting every single message. Ah, there you go. Brilliant. Just going to have a look at that then. There we go. Another high metal content planet. Nice. Works. That's the binary black holes. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, that's really nice, especially to get lensing from that sort of distance. How close was you able to get to it? The stream's lagging, Sinstref. That's bad news. I've got green right across the board on the stream on this end, so it seems to be going out okay. Is anyone else having problems with the stream? I can reduce the bitrate down a little bit if needs be, but it is green on this end, so Sharks, my FOV is beyond max actually, or beyond the max setting in the graphical settings. I've actually got a 21:9 aspect ratio monitor, you know, the super widescreen ones, and I've gone into the config file and set the aspect ratio to 68 or 69, which is why I've got the really good field of view here. The resolution's 2560 by 1080, so it's not one of the super high resolution ones, but it is one of the monitors with the larger aspect ratio. Five light seconds. Yeah, I bet the lensing must have looked great up that close. You still having problems with the stream, Sinstraf? Rocky planet. I was kind of hoping that one would be a little bit better there. The last one's 4,000 light seconds away. This is one of the reasons I tend not to navigate via the nav pane, because you find yourself flying back and forward a lot. I prefer to actually fly up and then fly towards the next planet along. Usually it means you're flying back and forward a little bit less. Oh, he went to the mirror universe. Joggle. Interesting. Must have been quite a large black hole. Maybe we can find one out this way at some point. Would be nice to see. Yeah, that would make sense. Oh, that's good, Sinstref. Hopefully it stays fixed now. I've seen a couple of black holes in the past orbiting up very, very close to suns, like 5 LS or so distance from a great big star, and it didn't actually get any lensing effect from the star at that point. I don't know if that's been changed now. It would be nice if it has. Once I saw that system map, once I saw the black hole like that on the system map, I was hoping to be treated to some spectacular visuals, but it was a little bit of a disappointment. But not to worry. I think they're still working on black holes by the looks of things. So this one should start scanning very shortly, and then we'll head out and start having a look at another system. I think I probably won't scan all the planets in the next systems because it takes a bit of time, unless of course they're all Earth-likes or all water worlds. I think this just about completes this system. Another high metal content planet. That's what we want. At least we have some value there. Okay, I'd like to see that. It's quite nice when you find the... It was 3 minutes, Majogul, so that may have timed out by now. I'll permit you again. Just give me a minute. I'll do that right now. Permit. There we go. You should be good to go again with another link. Looks a little bit like Mars, that planet, but with an atmosphere. Let's have a look what we've found here then. So there we go. It'd be nice to actually get an idea of the value of the planets you've scanned before you get back, especially for those of us that are out here for weeks at a time. But yeah, so I'm going to try and get to an area that's a little bit brighter. That looks like quite a good candidate. Let's jump there and see what happens. One of the things I want to look at again is, like I looked at in the previous stream back in the Lagoon Nebula, if we can find some ring systems, that'd be really nice. Especially if it's some ice asteroids, all the better. Off we go. Off we go to the next star. Hopefully not a neutron star, because I didn't check what it was I was jumping to before I jumped. Looks like we're fine, but of course it depends on what's here for us to see. 16 new objects. Is that 16 or 10? 16. Have we got some rings? We have got some rings, a lot of them in fact. None of them ice. But let's head out to this smaller one here, this smaller gas giant, and have a look at the ring system on it. See if we can see much of the nebula. In fact, it might be better to go to the one that's further away, because as you get further away from the sun, the nebula will get brighter. So we'll try and head out to the third one there. It gets us away from the sun without going too far. What's going on with Imager, Majogul? ring there. Just look how bright that nebula is. It's fantastic. Duh. Done the same thing again. Let's see if I can extend the time out for you there. 1 minute. What are we looking at here? Right, I've put you on a regular, on the list of regulars, Majogel. Hopefully that should stop all that nonsense with your messages getting spammed. Let me have another look there, just make sure it's all good. That's the wrong setting. I'll put you on the list of regulars. I think that might let you post links without any problems. At least as far as I can see on the settings here. Exclude regulars, yeah. There we go, you should be alright. Alright to go there. Now Majogel. And if you haven't disappeared entirely, that is, you still about? Deleted all your messages, hopefully it hasn't deleted you as well. So yeah, just heading down toward this planet here with the rings, so we can get a good look at some rings and some nebula along with it. Rather skinny ring though, isn't it? Look, a bit of a smaller ring to what we've seen before. Now the colours are a little bit different to what we saw on the system map. When you see it like this, it looks like it's a nice ring rather than a rocky one. Guess we'll know soon enough. Yeah, I reckon this is going to be an icy one, you know, or I suppose one of those rocky ones with the... Should we get a bit closer to the planet, or should we go to the outer edge? One of those rocky ones with the white clouds, dust clouds maybe. Don't have hit that too fast. And took a little bit more damage. Nuisance. Not too bad. All these little hits keep mounting up. Before long you find yourself needing to head back. But we're lucky enough here to be seeing ice asteroids. I don't know if you're still about there, Majogel, but, or if you heard, I've put you on the list of regulars, so you should be whitelisted to post links. You shouldn't get any of that nonsense anymore. Yeah, I know what you mean, Sinstraff. I've done this before as well, although I fortunately didn't lose my ship. Let's put a little bit more energy into the shields anyway, just to be on the safe side. These are the sort of areas I really do like to take a close look at. I don't know about you. Ice asteroids with nebulas. A lovely looking combination, especially when you look at the red light reflecting off the asteroids there. Just look at that. Let's see what we can actually do here then. Just going to go into the debug camera for a moment. See what sort of views we can get. And some nice lighting on the ship as well, which actually makes a change, doesn't it? And I have set my course, I hope, so hopefully I'm not going to hit an asteroid any time in the next few seconds. Maybe get a little bit close to one, you don't know. But some lovely views there, lovely views out here. Getting close to that one, look. And some nice heat effects there coming out the exhaust, out the engines. Sort of thing I'd like to see that. Especially with the planet as a backdrop. Let's move onwards then, I guess. Although that's quite nice, isn't it? Seeing the galactic core there, the galactic core and the nebula together. A lot of nebulas you don't often get to see the galactic core because they can be blocked out by the colours of the nebula itself. I don't know if any of you have actually seen that happen very often, but it does happen from time to time. Nice combination of colours there, though, the way the various elements of the galaxy blend together. Right, that's that one then. Let's have a look at the next system then. Maybe we can find one with a black hole out here. Does anyone know what star type we should filter for to stand a better chance at finding a black hole? So where do we want to filter by? Don't want to filter by that, do we? Shows star name, shows nebula. That's not what we want either. Our star class, there we go. So the blue stars are type O stars. Is there any of them nearby? Probably not, because usually they stand out quite clearly, O or B. Thank you, Calibus. Oh, and there is, looks like there might be one right nearby. That's alright, Lewis, we'll try and work through what we've got here. What's that? Well, we'll have a look at this one. One of these here, hopefully will do the job. There's more actually in this area than I was expecting there to be. Normally they stand out from quite a distance away, normally quite distinct. Off we go. I think that's what I selected, wasn't it? O, A or B. I know I definitely selected O there. They're the ones that cast a lovely blue light in your cockpit, aren't they? Look really nice. Not quite the blue I was looking for there, but it's fine. I'll do a detailed surface scan of this though, just to get a little bit of information on it. Sorry to hear that, Majogol. That's a nuisance. I've actually added you to the list of regulars now, so you shouldn't get banned again. I wondered where it disappeared to there. That's a little bit excessive on the settings there. I'll need to go through the settings and make sure they're not doing that sort of thing. Totally excessive and unnecessary. Extra stars here, but no black holes. Class O. Class A more like that one. What's down there then? Yeah, those are the ones that I like to see, Calibers, the ones from my last trip. Alright. Non-sequence stars, so how do I normally get looked for that? I'll try and link now. Well, hopefully you won't get chat banned because I've whitelisted you, but who knows how that software works. As long as it's doing its job and as long as I've actually done what I think I've done, you should be okay. So we're looking for a black hole within this nebula area. Hopefully there's one not too far away. There's actually a nice solid lava type planet there, quite close to the sun. And what's this over here? Well, that's worth going to, isn't it? Slightly unusual planet to see with a ring, although 1% has discovered that. Commander 1% is the guy who won the £10,000, isn't he? Yep, excellent. Majogol, I was hoping it would. Let me just get up a little bit here and then I'll have a look at that link. So what's there should help us find black holes a little bit better. Be nice to see if there is a black hole out here in the Cat's Paw Nebula. But I don't know if you noticed there on the system map there was a high metal content planet with a ring system around it, which I haven't actually seen one of them before, so I'd love to get out there and have a look at that, but I've got to get slightly more away from the central star here. Have a look at your link there, Majogol, why we're flying upwards. Ah. Yeah, just look at that. You was having trouble with Imager then. Some really nice lensing on that image, that's for sure. I think we're more than far enough up now to turn around and come back down. We're looking for the furthest planet out here. Hopefully that's that one. Unexplored. Unexplored by me. First discovered by Commander 1%, who's now £10,000 richer. Yeah, I did notice that detail there, Majogol. Quite interesting. But I was unaware that if you moused over on the galactic map you could see if there's a black hole in the system before you actually got there. That makes things quite a bit easier to find. I'll have a look in a minute, see what the the class O and A and B stars have in this particular nebula. Maybe we can find a black hole in one of them. I want to see what this planet looks like here though. It's one of the first planets of this type I've ever seen with a ring system around it. You normally see ring systems around the gas giants. It's somewhat rarer to see them around the other types of planets. It was a good tip, wasn't it, Lewis? Yeah, I can't wait to see above that as well, since Draft. Might be a little while yet before we get there. I'm probably gonna, I'm in two minds really as to whether to fly right into the galactic core and then once I'm in the centre I go up above it, or fly right over the galactic core and then down into it. The benefit of going toward it first is that there's a lot of other objects I'd get to see, a bunch of nebulas, and slowly see the stars become ever more condensed, at which point I can fly away from the core and start seeing it shrink into the background. Hi Firestar, nice to see you here. Thanks for coming. Yeah, Easter was good. Kids loved it. I liked it too. I ate a whole bunch of chocolate. Ah, so you're out here exploring. Awesome. I think you're going to have a good time, and the Asp is a fantastic ship. Yeah, I'm going to go just about anywhere I can go. Calibus. Is that Calibus or Celibus? Calibus. I'm going to try and go anywhere I can go, and I think that would be a nice system to visit. Look at the rings here. Somewhat unusual rings, as well as being around unusually being around a planet like this. Calibus. Great. Sometimes never quite sure how to pronounce the names there. Always take the risk of saying them wrong, but I don't suppose you all mind too much. Yeah, look at those rings there. You're trying to post a link there, since Straff, I'll get you whitelisted. Bear with me a second. Otherwise you'll get the 10-minute ban like Majogel did, and I don't actually agree with a 10-minute ban. I don't want anyone banned for trying to post a link, but I think I've messed up the settings somehow, and it seems to be doing that at the moment. I need to get that fixed when I get a chance to get in there and have a look. Just make sure I've got your name right there. There we go, Sinstraff, you're whitelisted now, so you should be good to post a link. Hopefully you've not just got a ban like Majogel did earlier. Like I say, sorry if you have. I need to get that fixed. And yeah, Firestar, it's a lovely view there, isn't it? Look at that. I'm going to get myself down into those rings, I think. Get a little bit closer. Get a little bit closer and take another external look again before we get right down there. Quite unusual to see ring systems like this, that's for sure. It's unusual enough to see a ring system around this type of planet, let alone... Oh, well, at least it was only 8 seconds. You should be good to go now. I've whitelisted you. Hopefully I typed all that in correctly. Bit new to all that moderation software, so just trying to get to grips with it at the moment. Yeah, there you go. Now your link didn't come through the first time, but looks like it's going to come through that time. I'll have a look at that in a moment. Another nice view. Let's stop the ship though. We're getting a little bit too close to this planet there. And another look. Actually, let's rotate the ship around a little bit first. I think there was more light coming from that angle. Yeah, look. bit more light. Thanks Death Nozzle, thanks for stopping by, nice to see you here. A nice comment there, cheers. Just trying to get a nice view of this planet with my asp included in the shot, because unusual planet, unusual ring system, and my ship out here. Not such a nice angle though. Might need to point the ship down a little bit perhaps. Yeah, lovely looking place. These are the sort of things that, for me, exploration's all about. Most likely ammonia. I think it probably is. I'm going to have a look at that in a minute, Lewis. Still trying to get used to this camera. Although, when you actually realise it actually flies like your ship flies, it gets a little bit better to actually get to grips with. Start with trying to rotate it around like you would a regular camera in a game, but it doesn't work like that, does it? There we go. Sometimes you do get some ammonia, high metal contents. Try again. Sometimes you do get some high metal content planets with ammonia atmospheres. I saw one just a few jumps back. Maybe it is. It's usually slightly green tinged, aren't they? Atmosphere, 32% ammonia, so not fully ammonia. Atmosphere type, methane rich, but it's third mixed with ammonia. Not terraformable though. But still an interesting planet to look at, isn't it? Just going to have a quick look at your link there, Sinstrath, before I move on. Oh, look at that. That's a fantastic shot. Can't wait to get there. How long does it take to get up that high? Yeah, Caleb, those are ammonia welds, yeah. Ammonia welds and ammonia atmosphere, slightly different things to each other. And yeah, Calibus, those inside rings here are extremely faint. I think what I'm going to do is go towards the inner rings here, which are super faint, and maybe come back out again and we'll have a look at one of the more denser rings. 2000 light years up. Fair old way then. Fair old way up, like that is. I don't know if you can see the faint rings on the video here. They are super faint, but I'm going to slow right down because I'm already taking 3% damage on my hull from doing these sorts of things, and I don't want to take any more damage if I can help it. So sometimes you come towards these rings and they actually look really, really faint. And you think when you get inside of them they're not going to be that dense, but when you get inside of them they are still fairly dense anyway. I don't know about you, but for me the rings, when they're around planets, they do make the planets look a lot larger, and I think that's because you've got a reference point for the sense of scale. You certainly don't usually see rings around these sorts of planets with atmospheres, so it makes the planet look much, much larger than what it normally does. I'll just get down a little bit lower into this ring here, and then we'll have another give this another external view. I think don't actually get right inside the rings though. Oh, maybe I do. There we go. I think that will do it. Good old debug camera, eh? Actually nice because it gets rid of the HUD as well from a forward view. That in itself is a pretty nice view, isn't it? Let's have a try and get the ship in there again. I've got the dark side of the ship, but sometimes that's a little bit better because because it stops the ship standing out quite so much against the background. Sometimes the contrast for the planet and the ship is just a little bit too high. How about just flying forward there a little bit? Another nice view. Silence of space, eh? Shall we go to one of the other sections, the other ring sections here? That's quite a few sections, didn't it? Not out of mass lock yet. Let's get ourselves out of that. No, that'd be a nightmare, wouldn't it, if I did crash? Nearly done it a few times when I'm this far out, but actually haven't killed myself yet. Well, for a star, the black skin, I think you might find actually comes into its own when you start getting into the nebula areas. Might not look so great against the blackness of space, but when you're against a bright red nebula or a bright green nebula or something like that, you might find black actually looks really good. Right, let's get a little bit away from these rings here. I'm going to go into one of these slightly denser rings and see if they actually look any different. They don't usually look much different, but sometimes they do. Slow down again, try not to wreck my ship. Ah, the Witch Head Nebula, that's a nice one. Have you been out to Bernard's Loop or anything like that? You can actually sort of go that direction after the Witch Head Nebula, if I remember correctly. I think I went to the Witch Head Nebula on the way back from Bernard's Loop. So the density of this ring system, this ring segment rather, is more or less the same as the other area, but you can see it's actually got a dust layer of white dust. Well, I say it's white dust, it's probably white just because of the way the light's reflecting off it, but the other ring didn't have this, and this one does. Let's see if we can get around and have a look at the planet there. And we can. With the wonderful reflections in the cockpit as well. Some of these are screenshots here, almost like the concept art I used to see. It's not getting far off being like that now, the game. Hello Babu Shai. Yeah, I'll give you a quick look at the galaxy, no problem at all. Let's get back inside the ship. I think that's enough drifting around for now, isn't it? There, I'm right on the edge of the Cat's Paw Nebula. Does that help you at all? There, I'll just leave the system name up for a few seconds, just to give you an idea. While I'm here, I think we'll have a look for one of these systems and see if it's got a black hole. What is it you said? Tell us if it's got a black hole. Oh, on the info panel over the side there, star type AVB. This one, for some reason, tells us that it hasn't got any allegiance type, even though the others don't. Any ideas why some of these stars show allegiance, economy and government, while others don't show that at all? Because obviously none of these stars out this way are going to have populations anyway, so I just wonder why it actually doesn't tell us anything about that on the list there. Looks like no black holes around this way, at least not until we start going outside the nebula then. Yeah, Majogel, that would be fantastic. Brilliant job, especially if you could have a couple of people come along with you from time to time. It might be a little bit lonely otherwise. But also, I don't know if you've ever had a chance to try out the Oculus Rift, but it's pretty close to actually experiencing exactly what you describe, especially when you're out in these sort of areas. Yeah, that could be possible, Lewis, that would make sense. Hi there, Ratjaws. Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. So, what do you think then, guys? Shall we have a look a little bit more around the nebula, or shall we start moving on to the next nebula? The next nebula I want to go to is just over this way, and it's actually got some very different colours to what we got. Although it is quite a way away, I will be sure to be scanning and stopping off at anything interesting in between. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to stay around here and have a look at a few more systems? Maybe we can find an Earth-like or something amongst this lot. I'm going to do one more jump right into the nebula. Why you decide what you'd like to see. Maybe. Let's see. Oh, that's good to know, Sintrath. Non-sequence. Yeah, untick that. Did you tick the non-sequence box? Ah, okay. Let's put a tick in there then. Although it don't seem to have made much difference to this particular region of space. The other filters are making a difference, but I guess there's no black holes in the Cat Nebula, it would seem. Yeah, I've got O stars checked there. Over in NGC 7822, it's absolutely chock full of black holes. For those of you that haven't actually been out that way, I'll change it to realistic. There, yeah. Ah, that's the view I wanted. Thanks, Lewis. I've been missing that view. Although I can't actually filter when I've got that, but I like realistic because you get to see what NGC, a little bit what NGC 7822 actually looks like when you're out there. Look at all these blue O-class stars. This is one of my favourite areas in the game. And when you have a look, well, not on that one, bad example. Let's get back to the map. I want to show you what it actually looks like out there, because there are I know a few of you have seen this before already, because I tend to show this quite often, but there's probably people watching now that may not have seen this yet. You get these systems with all these stars, and that's one of the smaller systems there. A lot of them will have 2 or 3 black holes in. I'll go to the next next jump anyway. Gets into more into the centre of the nebula. Oh, I'll be sure to do that as well then, Majogel. I'm going to do this jump and then I'll do that. I guess no one's too worried whether I stay in the nebula or head off then. Head off to the next nebula. So I might stay around here for a few more jumps and see what we can find. After all, this planet here was a pretty interesting find, wasn't it? An unusual find. In fact, Calibus, all the suns I showed you just now in NGC 7822 are all about the 1 million year mark, so a very young system. Some of those systems had 20 other stars in the same system with them, and some of them with 3 black holes all orbiting each other, and occasionally orbiting very right up close to stars like this one. Just look at the white light on this. I love seeing that. But it's a very bright star, so we might not see much of the nebula this way out, simply because the brightness of the nebula blocks all that out. But nonetheless, we will get a little bit closer in and have a look. A little bit further out perhaps and have a look. Ah, now look at this. George Young has found this, but every planet has got a ring, and that looks like it may well be a water world with a ring system around it. We'll go to this lava planet first. Shame it's not actually right up close there, but it's only about 300 light seconds away, and the sun's quite large, so we might be in for a bit of a treat here. Ah, no. I haven't seen any Earth-likes in the young systems, Calibus, so that's probably why. What you say there is probably why. Yeah, there's some very young systems out here since Strath. 1 million years. Comparatively speaking to Earth, that just seems like nothing. I'm a Jogul. I'd like to see some of them as well. Let's get down to this planet here. It's actually fairly close to this rather bright star, and there's going to be some rings there, and it's a lava planet. And there's one that's very similar to this, although a lot closer, in the Pleiades Nebula, and that has some absolutely stunning views. So we should get quite a nice view here in a minute. Obviously probably left it a little bit too long to slow down though. Let's turn away. That's it, slowed down a little bit there, otherwise I was going to go shooting right past that planet. And yeah, look, the brightness of this sun will actually cast some interesting lighting in the asteroid field, in the ring systems when we actually get in there. And look at the shadow the planet's casting across the back of the rings. A very narrow shadow, due to how close we are to the sun there, I'd assume. In we go. It's a rather interesting lava planet there, high metal content, lovely bright sun, and some rings. Like I say, there's a system like this out in the Pleiades, which I got to very early on in Gamma. I think in an Eagle. I've got some screenshots somewhere. You might even actually be able to see them down in my gallery. And those were pretty nice views. But we're going to see something similar here now, I suspect. This one's a little bit more misty than back out there, but it's quite rare to find a ring system very close to the sun. Yeah, you're fine to post screenshots and links. Sinstrath, you're whitelisted, and post what you like. That's fine. That's what I actually love so much about the game, Lewis. The fact that you can just go from system to system, and even though in very, very broad general terms the planets are all similar to each other, what is dramatically different is the combination they're presented in with each other. I mean, just look at this. We've already been in, it's probably the third or fourth ring system we've been in just on this stream session, but it looks a lot different to the others we've already seen, doesn't it? It's all about the combination of things. Yeah, I'm not using the Rhino HOTAS at the moment, Death Nozzle. It's a little bit awkward to use when you're streaming because I'm all tabbing between other windows and I'm on the mouse and lot, but when I'm not streaming I do use the X55. It's brilliant HOTAS, really great. I'll have a look at that link in a minute. Sinstrath. Let's see what this looks like. The lovely white star there. Look at the shadows on the back of the cockpit. Quite some strong shadows there. Not to mention the lava planet in the background there. I don't know how many of you are aware of this. You might well be now that the debug camera's here, but did you know that there's actually another pilot seat on the bottom of the ASP cockpit? Right underneath, look. That's where I'm sat, even though for some reason I'm not actually in there at the moment. Pilots aren't modelled in the game. And there's another seat. Can't wait till you can have multiple people, multiple players in a ship. Being able to be a co-pilot would add some interesting things into the game, wouldn't it? Okay then, Majogal, thanks for stopping by. It was nice to see you. Catch you again soon. Let's just have a look at that link there, Sinstrath. Oh yeah, that's really, really nice. There's quite a lot of systems like that one out in NGC 7822, so if you like that type of configuration, that type of star, you'll want to try and head out that way. There's plenty to see out there like that. Even different coloured stars near each other. What else was there in this system then? What else have we got? Let's get to the system map though, not the galaxy map, as that makes a difference. So another one of the planets I was just at, and actually it may actually be close to this other star out here. That has a semi-major axis of 0.83 and this was 0.7, so these two planets are very close to each other. That unfortunately is about 1,000 light seconds or so away from this planet, so we're not going to see too much there. Ah, but look at this. I didn't see that just now. That's a star with a ring. I've only ever seen a brown dwarf with a ring. I've seen one yellow coloured star with a ring, but when I got there the ring wasn't actually present or visitable. How about we go look at that? Where is it? That would be the 5th orbit line out, I believe. 6th orbit line out. Let's get into hyperspace and see that. Okay then, Death Nozzle, thanks for stopping by. I'll catch you again soon. Ah, so that's where you were, Sinstrath, when you lost your ship. What a pity. Lovely nebula, takes quite a long time to get to, so to lose your ship and find yourself all the way back in civilized space must be quite a blooming knock. Yeah, that's a point, Lewis. In fact, some of the binary stars, when they're right close door to each other, they should be sucking material from one to the other. Maybe at some point in the future we'll get to see that. So I'm just about to head toward a sun. I found a star with a ring system around it, and that is the first time I've ever seen this. I've seen brown dwarfs with rings. I've seen one yellow star with a ring, and that ring I wasn't actually able to visit because it was within the drop-off distance, but I've got a bright white star in this system that's got a ring around it, and I'm just about to go and have a look at it because I think that's going to be quite an interesting view. It's certainly something I've never seen before. It's on the 6th orbit line out. It's about the 7th or 8th planet out, but the 6th orbit line, because usually the planets that are orbiting each other, that are paired up, don't have an orbit line. Let's see. So that's the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. Quite a long way out. 5,500 light seconds away. But if that is indeed the sun with the ring on, though I don't look like it is because of looking on the HUD there, it looks like it's a rocky planet. But we go that way anyway. I'm sure we'll find it in a minute. Either way, determined to find that. So two other interesting things here in this system. We've got this star look. We've got a star with a ring, which I've never seen before, and we've got what looks to be a water world with a ring. Both of them are going to be definitely worth visiting. Hello there, Chaos Wolf. Thanks for stopping by. Nice to see you again. Just out here found a whole bunch of I think that might be it actually. A whole bunch of planets with rings around them. Some quite unusual ones at that. That's probably that. Oh no, that's that one I'm seeing there. Oh, of course, this hasn't got an orbit line anyway, because it's a paired systems orbiting each other. So what I'm looking for should be just before that ring there. It might be that one. Might be that one. Let's have a look. Depends how many of these others are orbiting each other. Yeah, I could be heading towards that, unfortunately. None of these are going to have orbit lines, making them a little bit difficult to find. We'll know when we're there. Not too far, doesn't take too long. Shouldn't take too long. What do you reckon? You reckon that's the right one, or do you reckon that's the wrong one? Yeah, ring systems can be quite hard to find. The really good ones, that is, Chaos Wolf. They're all over the place, but the good ones are far and few between. Have you come across recently any of those really dense ones that were back, I think in Gamma I found one, the ones that are actually so deep from top to bottom that you actually can't fly all the way through them? I actually got lost in one of those. Might have a screenshot that I can show you all. That's right, Lewis. The further away you get, the orbit lines do get clearer. The only problem is when you get paired planets orbiting each other like these two here, they don't actually have an orbit line around the sun. They just have their own orbit line around each other. Oh, you remember that one, Calibus? Yeah, that was a video quite a long time ago. You've been watching the videos for quite a while then. What one have I just discovered? That one there. So I need to go out a little bit further. Alright. While I'm flying up there, Chaos Wolf, I'm going to see if I can find you a screenshot of the type of belts I'm talking about. There we go. Just let me save that, and I should be able to add that into the stream, I'd imagine. think. Give me a second. First time I've actually added an image here, so it might take a moment. Depends on where I've put it. Be a second. Nearly there. Add image. Alright, planet. Make sure I'm browsing to the right location here. Yep, there we go. That's the image. Really dense ring system there. As you can see, you can't tell which way is toward the edges or which ways from the top or bottom. Basically, I dropped out of warp into that ring there and couldn't find my way back out for quite a while. I had to keep orientating myself in various different directions until I started seeing the edges of space slowly getting closer to me, but it was certainly possible to have got lost out there. Hold on, Chaos Wolf, I'll whitelist you there. You've probably got an 8-second ban there. Sorry about that. And I haven't got the moderation configured up quite right yet, so it's messing people around. I thought I'd done it correctly, but I've obviously been doing it not quite right. But there you go, Chaos Wolf, you're whitelisted, you're good to post the links. Sorry it deleted your links there. Ah, you saw the video yesterday, Firestar? Or did you see Treasure Planet? Which one were you referring to there? Be nice to see if there were some crossed rings. I don't know if it's technically possible there. All right, yeah, you should be good to post the link now, Chaos Wolf. Which one of these then is the sun with the ring system? I want to get to the sun with the ring system. Is it that one? I've come out too far, haven't I? Because that's number 10. Maybe this is the water world with the ring system. 10, no. So I've gone that side, I've gone that side. I want the one in between. As you can see, these ones don't actually have orbit lines going around the sun, so a little bit difficult to find. I'm going to try going up a little bit again. I'm actually looking for this one here. For those of you that have just joined, I'm looking for this sun that's got a ring system around it. A little bit of trouble navigating toward it, but I think it will be worth the effort. Ah, right, Firestar. It's one of the older videos. I haven't seen any, never come across any ring systems like that one since then. Oh, that's one of the super dense rings, Chaos Wolf. I didn't know they were still in the game. I've been looking and looking for some of them. Lovely screenshot. Those are the best ones to go through on the Oculus Rift. Can I bring up this? Yeah, I can bring up the system map again. You want to see the sun with the ring around it? Is that what you're looking for? This one here, is that what you want to see? Calibus. I'm actually heading toward this one here, if I can find it. I'll then want to go out to the water world with the ring system. Found quite an interesting system here, so some nice things to look at. Got to turn around and see if I can see where I've got to go. I've got to be round here somewhere, isn't it? So there's planet number 10. There's number 6. Well, they're all over the place here, aren't they? In the end, I'll probably just have to fly toward all of them. That one looks a little bit bright. One of the ones I'll be going toward is one without an orbit line. The orbit lines are the planets on their own. The ones which are own little system within a system, like this one, generally don't have orbit lines. So I've been to that pair, been to that pair. That only leaves this pair. So T-class brown dwarf. All right. Let's have a look. I see. It doesn't actually say T-Tauri star. It says, yeah. That's why I didn't notice it saying brown dwarf. So these are small stars in, yeah. Wonder how bright it's going to be. T-Tauri. Yeah. Sun, a star with a ring system around it. It may be, there you go. That's because I'd targeted the gas giant here. There's two planets orbiting each other. One's a star, the other one's a gas giant. They're navigating very close toward, they're orbiting, should I say, very close toward each other. So when you first target it, it just targets whatever one it can. I assume the one with the largest mass, perhaps. But I just pressed the target button again, and now it's targeting the sun. So here we should get some quite interesting view, and there you can see the gas giant out there, the one that was initially targeted. Slow down a little bit because that's really, yeah, look how bright that is. Okay, can you see the lens flare going off toward the left and right of the sun there? Let's see if we can get a slight better view of it. Quite unusual that, isn't it? Quite a find. And that's actually quite an extensive ring size as well, isn't it? From edge to edge, I'd like to know the sizes of that. The only downside, I suppose, about that is the fact that there's a shadow being cast across the ring, and of course there wouldn't be a shadow there, would there? Even though the sun, the main sun, would probably be shining this way, it wouldn't be able to cast a shadow on the opposite ring side. Yeah, let's have a look. The shadow might just be based on where I'm located. I think though the shadow's being cast by the main star in the system, because obviously the game's just treating this as a planetary object when in fact it's a sun. Nice. The shadow's staying exactly where it is. Yeah, the ring system seems to be going through the sun, doesn't it? So maybe it shouldn't be there. Who knows? Either way, we'll see when I can get down into it. Before, when I've tried this with a ring around a star, it was a very faint ring and I couldn't actually get into the ring system. It wouldn't let me in. If you can get it, you really want to go for the advanced discovery scanner, which was, it's going to be very difficult for you to find things like I've just found here with the intermediate discovery scanner. It's only got a range of about 1,000 light years, whereas the advanced discovery scanner immediately brings up everything in the system. Alright, let's not go in too fast. I wonder what this is going to look like in here. It probably should be a little bit brighter, but who knows. Come on. A little bit difficult to judge the distance to the ring here. Are we going to get in? There we go. Nearly there. Almost looked like we passed through a layer of the ring first, then before dropping out of it. So there we go. My first sun with a ring around it. Gonna get right down into there, I think. The ironic thing here is that when I do the external view, my ship's actually going to be in shadow because I'm facing away from the main star. But I guess that is just the way it's going to be. There we go. And you can see the all the matter on the sun spinning around the sun itself there, can't you? The star does look calm. It would look calm until I actually end up crashing into it, then there'd be something that wouldn't be that calm around here. Probably be using some of these clips if I can find them to do another Best of Exploring Elite Dangerous video. The last one I had was all nebulas and it didn't have any external view back then, but some of this stuff here I've got is looking as though it has a lot of potential. A little bit better there, slightly better lighting on the ship. The Advanced Discovery Scanner Pro Teddy costs around about 1.5 million. So fairly expensive really, but depends what sort of ship you're going to fit it to. If you've got an ASP then you've probably got that amount of money anyway, but you can also fit it to any of the other ships. So next up I think we'll head toward the water world that we got here, because that also has a ring around it, and I haven't seen a water world with a ring around it either. Just need to check something here first though, if that, give me a second. So you can actually rack up the money quite quick now in bounty hunting, from what I understand, can't you? Yeah, it's a trouble, Pro Teddy. And if you want a good jump drive in your ASP, the best jump drive you're going to get is unfortunately going to set you back about 4.5 million on top of the other costs you've got. Before I go anywhere, I'm just going to go right down into this ring system actually. It's a bit of a shame not to, wouldn't it? Yeah, that's right, Chaos Wolf. The jump drive alone is going to set you back 4.5 million or so, maybe a bit more. How much is the fuel scoop? Yeah, that's a lot. Oh, you got an A6 fuel scoop. 28 million for an A6 fuel scoop, really? What sort of fill rate does that work at? How many units a second does it fill at? I think I've got a B5 or a C5 fuel scoop. That cost me about 2.5 million. Fills my ship up at 500 units a second. Maybe you're right, it might have been 5.1 million. You might be right. My memory's a little bit off for that sort of thing sometimes. Let's check the stats here. Could probably do a bit of a breakdown. I know there you go. My ship is worth nearly 22.5 million. So you're probably right there, Chaos Wolf. It's quite a significant amount on the fuel scoop I've got here as well, I suspect. 878 units a second. That's quite a lot. Hello there, Ant Dude. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming back. Yeah, I've tried a T6 Coltillion. I think they're brilliant ships to explore in. You've got just about everything an ASP can do. The only thing you haven't got is you haven't got all the hard points and you haven't got the manoeuvrability. But I think for the cost you can outfit a T6 at, it's a fantastic ship to come out in. You've still got more or less the same field of view and the canopy on a T6. So it's all good. Sorry for the slight pause there, just got a coffee delivered into me. Got to keep stocked up on that. That's right, the spunk, you don't need an ASP. I've explored in a Sidewinder, I've done it in an Eagle, done it in a Cobra, and I've heard of a lot of people doing it in a hauler. But I do enjoy doing it in an ASP. So if you can afford it, then do it. But if you want to go out in something else, then by all means do. So I'm going to go out to the... I mean, all the other ships are certainly more as capable of exploring. I'm going to go out to this water world now, which should be significantly easier to find than this Star Wars. I'd like to know what that fuel scoop bump to your rebuy cost up to though, Chaos Wolf. I'd imagine it bumped it up quite a bit. Yeah, it's got an amazing jump range, that's for sure. It's going to take a little bit of time to accelerate up out of the gravity well here, but we're getting up there now. Shouldn't take too much longer. Can you still hear me, Sinstrath? I did knock my mic, but I've just been given a coffee, so probably heard a bit of a knock there. Sorry about that. Not a pleasant sound, is it? Is it sounding alright now? Or is it sounding a bit crackly or anything? Is the sound levels all alright? Right, we want the furthest out ring here. Yeah, that was just me knocking the mic. I've got a coffee here. Okay, glad it's all good. Glad I haven't messed it up. Be a bit of a nuisance, wouldn't it? So we're just flying upwards here. Give me a better view of the orbit rings, and I'm going to come straight back down on top of that ringed water world. a little bit higher. I know what you mean, Chaos Wolf, don't worry about it. Probably far enough from now away, I'd imagine. So we want the furthest out ring there. You can see they're slightly off centre to each other, some of these rings. So when you're looking at it from that angle, it can make it a little difficult to work out which one's the furthest. But let's see, maybe we can scan that one. I suspect this one's the furthest one. Actually, which one is the furthest one out? There's 8,000 light seconds in it, so I don't really want to go to the wrong one, because that means turning around and coming back. Lagoon Nebula and the Cobra. Yeah, I think you could pretty much manage just about any of the nebulas in the Cobra. Although some of them do need a jump range closer to 30 light years, in which case you're going to be out of luck. But 5% health? No. I'd be absolutely on the edge of my seat, I think. Yeah, still a laggy system then, is it, the spunk? A lot of players there. A lot of new players coming in on Steam. More and more every day. Well, it could be either of these ones the furthest one out, couldn't it? You see these two orbit rings? Which one's the furthest one out is anyone's guess, because they overlap each other. Well, that one's a gas giant, so that's not the planet I'm looking for. That one's obviously more of a Terran type world, so that's the one I'm going to go to. I bet he did, Chaos Wolf. It was bad enough when I nearly wrecked my canopy on the last trip out. Never fallen asleep at the computer since Strath. Never once done that. But then I struggle getting to sleep at the best of times, so just waiting for the day I go to sleep with the Oculus Rift on though. I think it might give you a funny few seconds when you wake up and don't see the room you're actually in, but you just see whatever environment you happen, virtual reality environment you happen to be in. I imagine that will give a few strange moments. Actually flew a little bit too far away from this water world here. It's taking a bit of time to get back to it. But we got a nice water world there, which is worth flying to in itself. At least I assume it's a water world. Certainly bright blue. Brighter by far than most of the water worlds I usually see. But it's got a ring around it, so that's my main interest in the reason for wanting to go there. I wonder what type of rings it's going to be. No, Pro Teddy. That's what I worry about. In my previous stream, I think it was the previous one, or maybe the one before that, I went through a whole bunch of rounder wolves where I couldn't refuel from. I had to drop down to economy routing, just doing 2 light years or so at a time, which you get a whole bunch of jumps in, worth remembering. A full tank will give me about 6 jumps if I do maximum jump range. On economy jumping, I was down to a quarter of a tank and was able to do 260 jumps just on that, which would have gotten me to my destination, whereas 3 or 4 jumps certainly wouldn't have done at max jump range. So the economy routing is definitely worth it at sometimes, although I don't think I'd be sitting here trying to do 200 jumps. That might send me to sleep. Yeah, it does make a difference. I was wondering if there was an upgrade to the fuel tank on here, looking to see if there was a 64 unit one, but unfortunately not. I would have taken a slight knock on jump range to get a fuel tank as large as that. Not the way to lose an anaconda, is it? Certainly if you've got a cargo hold full of valuables, or if you've only just bought it. But embarrassing as well, I'd imagine. Excuse me. Going a little bit slow here. Speed up a bit. Again, another one of those ring systems with the gaps between the rings. Actually like these ones, they do look a lot nicer than the ones that are just one pure dense ring. And again, as I mentioned previously in the stream, when you get into these ring systems here that are right up against normal type of planets, the non-gas giant planets, it actually does give a better sense of scale to the planets. It makes them look much larger. I mean, the planets look big enough in a way when you realise they're big, but they also sort of, it's hard to judge the sense of scale when you're in space. So when you've got these rings here and these rocks, as you're going to see in a moment, it gives you a reference point to actually judge the size of the planet against. And as I move up here, you get a bit of an idea here. I think that actually looks much bigger for a water world than what it may normally appear to be. That's purely because we've got a point of reference here. Cobra's a great ship. 12 million gone. What a nightmare. Yeah, I was tempted to do that since Trath, but I'm not going to give it I'm not going to take the risk on those gaps that small. Not this far out. The ship would probably survive it, but the least damage I can do, the better, because I need to save the hull damage for the true accidents, which I'm bound to have a few of. As you can see, I'm already down to 95%. I'm 6 days out. I don't want to lose 3% every 6 days. I'm planning on being out around between 40 and 50 days. If I can go longer than that, all the better. But I'm 6 days at the moment, trying to get to at least 50 really. I think that would exceed what I did previously. Did about 35 days or so last time, maybe 40. But there we go, a water world with a ring system around it. Bit of a shame it wasn't ice asteroids, as I think they're the best looking ones, but still rather nice, and nice to see the blue reflection there in the canopy actually of the asp. All the other reflections you normally see, you don't normally get to see blue that often. Another nice little view there. Awesome stuff. That's what it's all about, isn't it? 95%. How long have you been out, Chaos Wolf? 60-day trip. Yep, don't blame you. Sounds good. Yeah, I like the white paintwork. Quite nice. A bit close to that asteroid there, don't I? You'll see sparks in a minute, and then the paint will wear off. Surprising actually, that I'm a bit surprised actually that the paint hasn't worn off a bit more yet. And look, you can still see the nebula a little bit behind me. In a bit of a bright system really. The stars out this way are a bit bright, which means unfortunately you can't see the true vividness of the true colours here of the nebula I'm inside of. %. Dropping then. You guys got any repair modules, field repair modules for that? I'll come out with 3 field repair modules this time. Haven't actually used any yet. Just saving them. But hopefully it's enough to keep things fixed. The only thing you can't fix now, I think, is the canopy, isn't it? Is there anything else you can't fix? And the hull itself, I guess, you can't fix. You can fix thrusters now, can't you? At least I'm hoping you can, because damaged thrusters out here in space are a bit of a sad thing.
4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
Have you had to use them yet, Chaos Wolf? Or you're saving them for when you really need them? Oh, that's good then. You didn't used to be able to repair thrusters with the field repair modules, so... Oh, can't fix power plant. Ah, that's a bit of a nuisance. Where am I down? Oh, the power plant's not even listed there, is it? Oh, there it is. 96%. Oh, that's alright for the moment. So then, we need to look for a new location, I guess. Let's head back to somewhere a little bit brighter, I suppose. Oh, look, nice bright red star there. Let's go there.
Frameshift drive charging.
You can repair the canopy, Lewis, even when it's cracked. Are you sure about that? I didn't think it could, but I'd be very pleased if it can, because a cracked canopy this far out is bad. I see. That's good to know. Does anyone know what percentage the canopy blows out at? I've had it happen a few times, but usually too panicky then to pay attention to what the percentage is. Well, it certainly won't be able to fix a blown out canopy, would it? But I'm not gonna experiment out here. Oh, a bit of an uninteresting system, this one. Let's go and have another look. Yep, there should do it.
Frameshift drive charging.
I'm going to do this jump. I'm going to fly away from the sun so that those of you that haven't seen it yet can have a good look at the nebula from inside it. That's a cat's paw nebula I'm in. And let you all have a good look at that, and then I'm going to start making my way toward the next nebula, and we'll see what sort of interesting things we can find whilst we're on the way, en route. And of course after that I'll be going to the galactic core. No, I think life support's tied to canopy, isn't it, Chaos Wolf, or not?
Fuel scooping complete.
But you're right, the canopy doesn't show up, just the same as hull doesn't show up. Although hull did used to show up on the modules, didn't it? Once upon a time. Some more gas giants, and what's going on here? It says it's got a semi-major axis of 0 AU. Could it really be that close to the sun? And there we go, that's the colours of the Cat's Paw Nebula. Very bright and very vivid. Can't wait for the days when we can actually see stations in these areas. And I know it doesn't look like the gas giants are right on top of the star. That certainly would have been odd, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'm not sure when hull used to show up, Chaos Wolf. It used to be right at the top of the modules list. You couldn't do anything with it, but I'm not sure how long back that was. You're halfway between the Omega and Trifid Nebula. Where are they? Oh, yep, right over there. You're going around a little bit, going a different direction to me. Well, I'm off to NGC 6357 now, I think. Let's put a plot course in. Let's plot a course in there. That should do it. Oh, excuse me. Shame to see the Nebula go. Lovely, lovely colours, and we're going to be back to the blackness of space in 1 or 2 jumps, but that is what it is. The next nebula should be nice. It's a purple hued nebula. The only one of them I've seen before is the Witch Head Nebula, which I couldn't get right inside of due to the fact it didn't have many stars inside of it. Well, Lewis, the second copy might come in handy later on, because when you're right out thousands of light years away from the galactic core, you might want a few moments of combat or a little bit of trading, and there's no easy way to get back aside from destroying yourself, so you might find then that you want a second copy. Hello there, Delphine. Oh, thanks for the nice comment. Nice to see you here. What's your favourite type of videos, Chaos Wolf? What ones do you like doing the most? I think this jump is going to take me clear of the nebula now. Tutorials, yeah, I like doing them too. You got some good ones up there, so keep it up. You're doing some great work there. Yeah, Elite does tend to throw you in the deep end a little bit when you're a new player, so any help that can be given to new players, especially at the moment, seeing as the game's just been released on Steam, there's going to be a whole lot of new players, isn't there? Oh, you can't see the Horsehead Nebula now. That's a shame. Yeah, episode 10's one of my videos, one of my exploring videos with the highest number of views, I think. I love that area, really nice area of the game. Nothing there, so we're good to move on, luckily.